Hello, everybody. We welcome you to this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Thera Martin-Milling, and I am so glad to be with you once again. Well, today on our program, we've got Linda Richardson, who is stopping by, and she's going to talk about all of the excitement happening on North Broad Street. And in particular, remember the old Uptown Theater? Well, she's going to give us an update on what is happening inside there. So stay along for that portion of our show. And then when we turn the page a little bit later on, we've got this young, vibrant, visionary gentleman who happens to be a minister, but who also is a community activist, if you will, a job developer, if you will. I'm talking about Reverend Jamal Vann, and he'll join us in our second segment on our program today, and he's going to talk about some very, very good and meaningful work he's doing in the heart of North Philadelphia at the Allegheny West Business Center. And that's at 2243 West Allegheny Avenue. We got it going on for you today on this edition of News You Can Use. We'll be back in just a moment. And we're back, glad to be with you. We're having fun with our wonderful team, our camera crew that's behind the scenes, and Professor Ellis back in the studio, along with all the great people who put our show together, including Amanda Keaton. We got some great students here at LaSalle University. Looking for a good education, looking for a great education. You want to sign up, make sure you get enrolled at LaSalle University. Got to put that in there. And yes, I took some courses here, so I know what I'm talking about. Today on our program, we are just delighted to be able to present to some and to introduce to others in this segment, Linda Richardson. I've known Linda, we've known each other over 30 years.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Over 30 years. That's what I call long-time friendship. And the thing I like about us, we don't have to talk once a month. We don't have to talk every 3 months. But when we see each other, that connection is still there.
That's right.
That's right. And then today, when I look at your daughter, and I have the opportunity to do some lightweight work with her, just being supportive of her and what she's doing, working for State Representative Leslie Acosta. I look at her and I see you. I look at her and her success and I said, Linda, the apple did not fall far from that tree at all. She is you all over again. Strong, smart, visionary, daring, bold, and not willing to take no for an answer when she knows the answer should be yes, and she's getting things done. So I want you to know I am cheering your daughter on as I watch her do you all over again.
Well, thank you, thank you. We're very, very proud of her.
Yeah, and even while we were, before we started taping today, I was talking about my daughter and how much I enjoyed working with my daughter, and I watched you and your daughter work together for years in building on North 22nd Street, building that community nonprofit that you ran so wonderfully for so many years, and then starting your own nonprofit because you saw the work that was needed right there on North Broad Street, across the street from your building, the old Uptown Theater.
That's right,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
We were working to build the Avenue of the Arts North, and we did 5 townhouses, which brought some jobs and had many programs relocate, like Jill Scott's nonprofit, and
Babe
the Doll
Foundation.
Blues Babe Foundation, and the Doll Museum, as well as many other educational and community services like Grants as Parents. But people came to me and said, well, what about the Uptown?
Yeah, what about the
So
Uptown?
we said, all right, well, let's see what we could do. And our first task was to do the technical effort to purchase it. So once we got over that, we put together a plan to renovate and restore it. Unfortunately, it was right at the beginning of the economic turndown. So this has been a few years, but we're on the move, and we have started to renovate the Uptown. We have put in new windows. We are doing the infrastructure, and we're right now working to be able to secure all the inside that needs to happen in order to then do the cosmetics.
The Uptown Theater, for anybody who doesn't remember or maybe just didn't know, the Uptown Theater used to be like the center pub of entertainment action.
That's right.
For North Philadelphia, for all of Philadelphia. If you wanted to see the famous R&B groups from back in the day, including Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5 and James Brown and, oh God, all the great old crooner groups that used to be just so hot and popular back in the day, it was at the old Uptown Theater. That's where everybody came. And so all these years later, to be able to purchase this building and to gut it out and to make it into something viable and wonderful again in 2015 and beyond, that's what's up, and that's what I love to see happen.
Exactly, exactly. The building is Art Deco. It is the only Art Deco movie theater that is still intact in the city of Philadelphia due to the efforts of the nonprofit community group, the Uptown Entertainment and Development Corporation. And like you said, anybody who was anybody in rhythm and blues went through the Uptown. If you went to the Uptown and made it through the Uptown in Philly audiences, you went to the Apollo and then international and national fame.
And that's what I was getting ready to say. For people who still might not be able to relate to, okay, Uptown Theater, Uptown Theater. Think Apollo in New York City. Apollo Theater, Uptown Theater, Philadelphia.
That's
Same
right.
difference.
That's
Same
right.
difference.
That's right.
Yeah.
So in those days, we didn't have the mega stadium, so the Uptown went into decline, but we were able to keep it intact. And to preserve the Uptown means we're preserving the neighborhood. And so we want to preserve jobs. And it's not going to be like our Uptown or like your mother's Uptown or your grandmother's Uptown, but a new era in entertainment. And that's what we're calling it, the Uptown Theater, a new era in entertainment. So we have several programs that we're doing. One, we're training young people in film and video. And hopefully they will be able to go to LaSalle and other institutions to be able to hone their skills, to be able to have a career in behind the scenes. Second, we're doing media, and so we just recently purchased a radio show, a FM low-frequency radio program, and it's going to be launched in February of 2016.
Black History Month.
Yes, so
Wow.
it is going to be called Uptown Radio, The John, and that's the name of it. It's going to be news and entertainment and education and an opportunity for North Philadelphia residents and people who are involved in North Philadelphia to talk about and tell their stories. Just like everybody has an Uptown story, we want people to be able to tell their story through the media.
That sounds like that is going to be so marvelous and wonderful. So now, inside the Uptown Theater, once it's all revived and brought back to life, you're going to have some areas that will be for what? Businesses can come in and rent out, or?
We have an opportunity for businesses to have space, anywhere from youth programs, nonprofit services, to perhaps people who want to use for rehearsal space. Then we want to do a little bit of housing for seniors in the neighborhood, and then we're also interested in doing a small 50-seat venue for student productions and neighborhood and community productions, and finally an international venue for people in the African Caribbean, African American, Latin American, Native American, who want a venue that's larger than a community setting, but not as large as a mega stadium. So the new era of entertainment means that we have new and different types of entertainment that represent the broad spectrum of Philadelphia residents.
Sounds so very good to me. Alrighty, we're talking with Linda Richardson right now, and she is the lady in charge of the Uptown Entertainment
And Development Corporation.
And they are working hard, working smart, been doing it for quite some time now. I'm going back now. I remember being at a press conference some years back. John Street Esquire was still our mayor at that time, and he had announced on that particular day a nice amount of money that he was putting forth to help support your vision.
That's correct. That's correct. Under former Mayor John Street, he was able to identify $1 million from the Cultural Corridors Fund, which is helping to build the infrastructure. So that means putting electricity, putting in the plumbing, fixing the infrastructure, and we're also doing some work to preserve the building. So we have the facade outside, which is Art Deco. We were able to do the first phase of preserving the tiles so that the Uptown remains intact the way it was when it was built in 1929.
Fantastic, fantastic. The auditorium where we used to sit to watch the shows. Now, you know, when you're a kid, when you're young, things are huge. Everything is huge to you, right? So as a grown-up now, I'm still thinking, it was so huge, it was so big in there in the auditorium. That auditorium, as I remember it, when James Brown used to be up there performing and all that, we're not going to sit in that auditorium anymore. That's not going to be there anymore, right?
No, it is there, and it's still intact, and we're
Okay.
trying to preserve it. Right now, we do have a problem with the roof, and if we don't get that fixed, and we're hoping that Mayor Nutter will assist us in getting that fixed so that you can go back. And while it was big, it is certainly larger than the Apollo. And
Well, that's pretty darn
it's the
big.
same as some of the mid-size venues in the city. So it is, it's not small, but it's probably not as large as you remember it.
Yeah. I can't remember what the seating would have been. What, 500 maybe back
The
in the day?
seating was actually 2,100.
Oh, okay.
It's 2,100
Okay.
seats. So it's a pretty mid-sized venue.
Very
Yeah, so
interesting.
it was large for then, and back then you could do a show and make money, but now you have to do more than one show to be able to have that kind of venue.
Now, when the Bowser brothers purchased the old Uptown Theater, well before your involvement at this
Exactly.
point, I was right there for that part. I'm like, okay,
Yes,
we're going to
yes.
revive this thing. And
Yes.
they changed the name to the New Tech.
Yes.
And they made a portion of it like a nightclub or something. And I used to go in there on Friday and Saturday nights when Gary Shepard was spinning the records, and I would work at the door collecting the money and all that kind of thing. But that didn't last long. And unfortunately, Mr. Bowser passed away. And I guess
Yes.
that's in the time period
Yes.
when the family decided, okay, let's
Yes.
pull out now.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
just so glad, though, that you picked up the mantle.
Yes, and because
History's important to
because
me.
the Uptown is a historic building, the work that the Bowser family did helped to preserve it. So we have to give credit to those people who own the Uptown, who preserved it. Just like a historic building like the Betsy Ross House, anything that you do to help improve it helps to sustain it.
Yes.
And we must keep these historical buildings. So the Uptown is historical because of some of the people who performed there and what went in there, but it's also historical because of its architecture and its design. So anyone who has helped to preserve it helped to pave the way so that those of us who are working on Uptown have a much easier job in getting it finished.
Give us a number where people can reach out to you if they want to make contributions, if they want to do other things to be supportive of your effort and your dream.
They can reach us at 215-236-1878 or on the internet. Our website is www.philadelphiauptowntheater.org.
You are doing marvelous work. God bless you.
Thank you.
I'm so excited for you. I'm excited for you.
We're excited too.
And thank you for coming by our show just to share a word. And we hope that lots of people will call you and say, we saw it on LaSalle TV 56 and we want to help. That's what we need our viewers to do. Thank you again. All right.
Support the Uptown.
Support the Uptown Theater. All righty, we're going to turn the page, and when we come back, I have a young, energized, smart, visionary man of God. His name is Reverend Jamal Vann. He's going to tell his story and how he's making a difference in North Philly after this.
Life is hard. Effective consent is simple. Do not make hookup decisions if you won't remember them. For more information on sexual assault, visit nomore.org.
When you're dying, What will it be like? You think you may know until you see what hospice can do. Expert loving care that enables more cherished moments, more smiles, maybe one more dance. Turns out when you're dying, there's more living to do. These families discovered what hospice is. See what's possible at momentsoflife.org.
My name is Carly. I'm 15 years old and I am a heart recipient. I got my first heart transplant when I was 1.5 years old. I got my second heart when I was 13. When I get my driver's license, of course I'm going to say yes to be an organ donor. I've been saved twice, so who says I can't save somebody else?
This gift of life was made possible by an organ donor. Imagine what you could make possible. Sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Hello, everybody. We're back with you once again. I'm the host of this show. It's called News You Can Use, and I'm so glad to be here. Glad for this opportunity to be back at LaSalle TV 56 and also with Verizon 36, Verizon Fios Channel 36. This program is all about good news and information that we can share with our viewing audience. That's all we're trying to do, and we definitely appreciate the opportunity to be here at the LaSalle studios to do the program. So thank you to Professor Tanya Ellis and to all of the wonderful students who helped to make this show possible. Now, in this segment on the program, we're talking with Reverend Jamal Vann, and I'm so glad to have you here, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're a blessing. You really are.
Yeah.
Not only to North Philadelphia, but to the whole city. When we see young people like yourself, you know, there's so many things that people try to give a bad rap to young folks. I get so tired of hearing it.
No.
Because I know there's a lot of good young people like yourself who are out here doing great work and who are positive and who are sincere and have a mission. From the time I first met you on 22nd Street, when you moved into an old property in the 3100 block, the old Mox building that had been sitting there looking ugly for years, and along come you, and you make it the New Mercy Worship Center.
Yeah.
And the first time I went by there after you moved in, I said, oh, what's in there? Oh, that's nice. I'm trying to peek and look and see what I can see. You brought life back to that corner. You brought life back there. And even in your decision to move out of there, thank God, you only went right down the street to Allegheny Avenue, probably an even better location for you now. And you are still doing what you do. Now, I first met you as the church man, the minister, the pastor. But then more recently, I've learned that you're all engaged in this helping people find jobs thing. And that's my passion. Aside from church. Church is a passion of mine too. But yeah, finding jobs for people is a passion.
Yeah, I think there's something called doing the gospel. So I believe that you have to do it. And one of the things we do is help those who are coming home from incarceration and their families. So one of the things we do at Allegheny West at Connection Training Services, where Little Page and Garnett, and they're there committed to the community, committed to helping those who are coming home, returning citizens, the new term now, helping them find employment, helping them find mentors, helping them find just a sense of belonging into the community. Sometimes that stint away is daunting, and coming home you need to feel like your family receives you, like your community receives you, and like you have a second chance so that you don't go back.
It's tough. It's tough. Some of the women that I work with in a program that I've been a part of for 12 years now, the Phoenix Training Center is the name of the program. And it's a program for women who've been incarcerated and they're on their last leg of incarceration by the time they get to me. So some of the women that I'm dealing with may have 4 months left on their sentence, 3 months left, some 6 months, some maybe 9 months, some about a year left to go.
Yep.
But they're with us in the heart of North Philadelphia at 2900 North 17th Street. And these ladies, some of them have been away for 15 years, 20 years, 9 years. Everybody's got a different story. Maybe some have only been away for 2 years. But the ones that have been away the longest, they're my most, how do I say it, most precious. I'll say most precious because I'm most concerned about them because they're so almost lost. Like, they've not held an iPhone. They don't know how to operate the internet. There's so many deficiencies that they have, and so there's much more work to do with them to get them up to speed, to make them feel comfortable and confident to go out there and get the jobs. Because the program where I am, that's what it's about. It's a work release program, so the ladies can come and go. They wear street clothes. Some of them, they look great. I said, I look at some of my ladies when I go to class, look, girl, you look good. Where you go get your hair done? I mean, they're out. They're doing things. They just have to come back in when they're supposed to come in, and they have to be clean. You better be able to pass that drug test.
Okay.
Yeah. But I keep hearing that there's way more programs to help men than to help women who are coming out of incarceration. Is that true to your knowledge?
Yes. There are more programs for men. I think because the numbers of men incarcerated historically are larger, as opposed to the number of women who are coming home. So I think there's more focus on the men. However, I have seen a good number of programs for women. Mothers in Charge has a great program. Pathways has a great program. Different programs like Impact has a great program. We accept women into our program at Connection Training. We have a large population of women who are returning home. They get culinary arts.
Some of my women come to your program.
Get culinary arts certificates, and they become chefs or cooks downtown. This particular program is for young fathers, 18 to 24 years old, who are returning home. And President Obama, if you notice, he went to he's the first sitting president to go to a prison, as well as when the Pope came to our city, he visited a prison. So there's this push now to connect with those who are returning home, and to really give them a sense of reconnection to the community. So the grant is for those who are young fathers saying, hey, you have not been in the life of your child for the last 5 years, 4 years, 10 years. We want to help you connect. We did a study in 19121 zip code. 98% of the families were single parent families run by 98%. And so oftentimes you don't go through North Philadelphia and see white flowing wedding dresses coming down the steps in that community. So we're trying to change that in some ways in the community in Allegheny West area, saying, hey, let's help these fathers to learn what it is to be a healthy dad and have a healthy family and even get married and really. You
sound like the Pope now. The Pope said, let's get married, folks, get married. And that's not a bad thing.
but with that, I think that is the push right now.
Yes.
From the top down to do family again. Make it cool to be a family again.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So you hear about jobs through your connections with Connection Training Services and through other sources and resources that come to you.
There right now, it is amazing. God is really blessed. Right now I have about 4 programs that can give people jobs. I have
male and female?
This program is for the men. However, the mothers of those children at those incarcerated returning citizens, they also have some resources. So it's just for that. We have 150 slots to fill, 150 families. So that's mom, that's the dad, that's the children. We want to service the whole family. So mom can get a job, dad can get a job, and even the children can get homework help. So it's an effort to really.
And mom and dad don't have to necessarily be married.
No, they don't have to. They don't got to be together.
Okay.
In the streets, they call it baby mom.
Baby mama. Okay.
On the streets, they call it. But we're trying to say the mother of that child, even if you're not together, she can still come in and get resources for your child and also for herself.
That sounds so.
The Federation of Neighborhoods is another partner of ours, doing parenting classes and things like that. So.
I love it. I love it. I know that there's so many good things going on at 2243 West Allegheny Avenue. Garnett Littlepage, I've known him for about 35 years of my life. And I used to do a lot of video work for him. And he knows all he has to do is pick up the phone. I'm there because he's been there for me many times over the years. And I love referring people over there. Now, the day you saw me recently, I do that at least, I'd say, once or twice a month. Where somebody who comes over to my office at Allegheny West and says, I need a job. I'm an ex-offender. Said, come with me. I will stop doing what I'm doing, put my pen down, turn the computer off, come on, come with me, and take them right on over there. Yes, but that was a blessing that day, and you did tell me that one of the 2 young men I had with me
He
showed back up.
Today, Mr. Smith, he was power washing a Walgreens today. I got a call from the employer saying, hey, making sure the guys were on the job. So he and another gentleman from that same community have a contract to power wash Walgreens all across PA. So,
Wow.
so yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
And they start out making like what, $10 an hour, $8 an
No,
hour?
I believe those guys they get $50 per store.
$50 per
They
store.
try to do about 5
Okay.
stores a day.
And some other opportunities that I know of with Garnett Little Pages Group Connection Training Services, the flaggers that work out on the
Flagger,
highways, they start
forklift.
out at $18
Yeah.
an hour. I said,
Yeah.
Garnett, can I be a flagger? Train me. But I'm scared of the cars.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't want to do it either.
But it's good money for those that have heart. You know,
All-
the ones
all
who wear
the guys
those
get that,
orange and
yeah.
those yellow jackets and they stand out and they, you know, when road work is going on, they make good money,
Yeah,
folks.
yeah, they do.
And the
They do.
forklift drivers too.
Forklift as well. Home Depot jobs, factory jobs, warehouse jobs. Yep.
Yeah. So, all of that said, if you are unemployed and you're looking for work, whether you are an ex-offender or not an ex-offender, and you're really having a challenge finding work, if you're right here in the heart of Philadelphia, take the time, go on over to 2243 West Allegheny Avenue. When you get there, now if you have a clean record and have never been incarcerated and you think you might like law enforcement kind of work, security work, you want to go straight over, or up rather, to Scotland Yard Security Services. They're housed in that building. And Scotland Yard is one of the largest, if not the largest, African American business that hires
Yeah.
folks from the city of Philadelphia. So Scotland Yard is really great, and they've got a lot of contracts with the city and all over the place. Look at the badges. You'll see Scotland Yard Security Services all over the place. So if you've got a clean record, you can do that. If you had a little bump with the law or some challenges in your life, then you want to go to Connection Training Services, also housed at 2243 West Allegheny on another floor up, and apply there and see what kind of opportunities they have. They're going to see what your skill set is. They want to know what your experiences are, if you've had any or not, and then they'll find out what your strengths and your weaknesses are and try to point you in the right direction. If you need training, they will sign you up if you're serious. But I'll say this, and I'm going to let you end it. If you're not serious, don't fool around with Connection Training Services. They don't have no time for people who are just BSing.
No, we are about rebuilding the community one family at a time. That's why on the first floor of Allegheny West Business is New Mercy Worship Center, where I have the church, and I invite all of those families to come and rebuild, be revitalized spiritually. And then Monday through Friday, go get job training, get family parenting classes, and really rebuild your family and the community one family at a time.
That's what's up. Give us your phone number real quick, please.
It is 215-909-1228. Again, 215-909-1228. Or you can reach me at my office at 215-320-5524, 215-320-5524.
All right, Reverend Jamal, thank you so much. Reverend Jamal Van, we appreciate you for coming in.
Thank you.
All right, and to our other guest, Linda Richardson, love you, love you, love you. And you got to keep your dial locked where it is. Great shows here at LaSalle TV 56 and on Verizon Fios Channel 36. Check us out. We want to keep things going and stay positive with all that we do. I want to use an attitude of gratitude as I live my life. That's what I'm trying to do. And we want to remind you one more time to remember that life is fragile. Handle it with prayer. Have a great day, everybody.